The following material is an early representation of a human of some sort consuming plastic packaged meat. It is described as a very special delicacy of high price and wealth. The so-called meal seems to be eaten for further purpose, which will be seen later in the film. For the person shown in the film, this was part of a ritual. These very thin sheets of meat are salvaged with this very specific manipulation. She is about to form a little ball and put it in her mouth. I asked the person to stick out the tongue to get a further glimpse. With the consumption of what was described to me as raw and air-dried meat follows a stage of great excitement. After that, the first phase is followed by some sort of extraordinary behavior. With the further material, I present what happened later that night. I was taken to a wooden, circle-shaped material where the person was able to reflect herself. She mumbled and danced with her hands. She waved at herself but also wanted to call a god called Lebébépleure. After that, the person sacrificed some handcraft voodoo puppet for Lebébépleure. She wanted me to look at myself using the reflection and finally seeing the god, too. Being an ethnographic researcher, I tried to really get in touch with the god Lebébépleure. Oh Lord, I was filthy not taking the ritual seriously and at its roots. But Lebébépleure spoke to me and said, "No one is ever able to see something without their own roots." After that, the person told me that Lebébépleure wanted us to wander through the dark city. We went through interesting passages and arrived at a urban playground. The person told me this is the final part of the ritual and that the consumption of the plastic meat is at its height. From that on, the imagery gets tense and very hard to understand, even from my own emic perspective. Because the remaining footage is washed out, I decided to make a psychedelic montage to be cool. The ritual finalizes its purpose with 3 days of sleep and belly aches. No human was injured during the ritual. The person told me afterwards that the plastic packaged meat is heavily addictive and that I should eat more to overcome my bellyache.